Clay Frederick of the horror franchise. Back at it with just pretty much a random video. Just a random video that I just kind of got me in my feels. You ever get that feeling where you watch something super nostalgic in your life from the past and such that you just feel like you want to talk about it? Well, I want to talk about it. It's not a bad thing. It's just, if you are familiar with my channel, and if you're familiar with my fan films that I've made in the past, I recently did a tier list ranking of all of them, including a solo flick called Screech. Now, Screech was a documentary style film that I made with my friends. And I wanted to make a sequel about a year later after that. I wanted to make a sequel. If you paid close attention, if you've even made it that far into that video, if you have seen my tier list ranking, but if you haven't, you probably don't know what the hell I'm going to be talking about here. But I wanted to make a sequel to my solo film, Screech. Now, if you don't know that I've made fan films, I would highly recommend you check them out. But they don't have anything to do with this particular little series that I was trying to make. Obviously, the first movie was called Screech. And I made up my own serial killer. And it was set at my friend Zach's old property. He had a house, his dad had a house, right next to a cemetery. And I thought that gave me a spooky vibe. That I was like, ooh, I can make a cool horror film here. Made up my own killer called The Screecher. He had a traditional Michael Myers mask, the bloody one from Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. And this was filmed back in 2010, just so you guys get a familiar timeline. Michael Myers masks were not really that existent, but they were starting to come about. I had a brown hat, I had black leather jacket, just leather gloves, painted black, full black, and I had this ghost face robe, wrapped it, turned into a cape. I made up my own killer. He's kind of like a Michael Myers Jeepers Creepers hybrid of some sort. But there was no backstory, no lore, no nothing around him. He was just a guy that came out of the woods and started kicking some ass. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. The movie itself is flawed as hell. It was a documentary style, kind of Blair Witchy kind of like, but it had music and such. Anyways, the point I'm trying to get with this video is, if you have seen my tier list ranking, I have stated that there was an attempted sequel that I was making. And I did not share it to the public. I didn't share it on my YouTube channel because, well, to tell you the truth, let me go ahead and just show it to you. The sequel that could have been. Take a gander. Take a gander. If you can get it made out. I hope I was showing clearly there. Okay. It's like a film reel I put together on this cover. Okay. And here's the spine. If you can read it. From 2011, 2012, and I had to write 2013 on there because I forgot to print it on there. And then let's have a look at the back. There you go. You can read that while you're at it. There you go. I hope you guys can make that out. I hope the quality stands out. The whole point of this is that I just got done watching this. And it's a 2-hour long little, pretty much a home video. The thing about my fan films is that they're all pretty much home videos. They bring back a lot of memories and nostalgia to me. But after watching this one, it just got me in the feel. Then the last time I watched my series, my horror franchise series, I haven't been doing YouTube content. But since I've been on a binge watch lately, and I'm watching everything chronological order, and I just finished the last Halloween yesterday, and I thought, let's get a blast from the past after I graduate. This is post-graduation era, by the way. In my early years after graduation, I got a job at Goodwill and such, and hanging around with my friend Zach. Let me tell you a story here, how this sequel pretty much was birthed. I always wanted to make a potential sequel to this movie, and I just graduated from high school, and I was not really looking for a job because I just didn't give a shit about anything at all. I just didn't give a shit about getting a job. You know how it is. You know, if you know what I'm talking about, you understand what I'm saying. I just didn't care. So I went. My mom and dad pretty much forced me to go to a workforce program. So I got there was a youth program at my local high school that they were doing. So I went there for about, I think it was a month, maybe a month and a half to 2 months, somewhere around there. It wasn't that long. It lasted about, I actually enjoyed it. Mind you, I actually enjoyed it. Now, I'm a type of person who really enjoyed going to school. That was the only thing that I actually was outside in the world over, because I'm a heavily introverted person. And after that, I was back on the struggle bus. Now, I went to this SJDC, I forgot what the hell it was called. There was a workforce program we went back to, and there were people that I knew that worked there. And I remember the first day there, I didn't have a vehicle at the time. My mom and dad would have to drive me there every morning. But the first day I went there, I ran into my friend Zach. And he had a vehicle. And, you know, my parents, of course, knew him. He's my best friend. I've known him since I was in 3rd grade. I was like, what, 8 or something? I don't know how old I was in my 3rd grade year. Or wait, you know what? Yeah, I do know how. I was 9 years old. I was 8 or 9 years old when I met him, so I've known him my whole life, pretty much. And where am I going with this? The whole point is that he's like, okay, you know, I'll be driving here every morning until I get a job anyway. I can just take Clay over here, and we'll just go from there. So my mom and dad were like, all right, cool. You can pick him up, and we'll go from there. So I hung out with him a lot. And I already hung out with him enough as it is, but we hung out like almost every day for like, what, 2 years or something? Because this was the beginning of my extrovert time, my extrovert era. Now, mind you, as I said already, I was already an introvert. This got me out of my box for a while. And I was real deep into a relationship with a girl. And it was the worst relationship I've ever had with a woman. And mental abuse at its finest, if you know what I mean. You know what I'm I can't even talk straight. I'm sorry. I just don't even know what I'm saying. I'm just going with the flow with this video. But if you know, you know. No, she was the worst thing that ever came into my life. But anyways, that didn't last long. I dated her for like 2 years, and I just took a moment and realized, was she really worth it all? No. I just gave up. And just dumped her. Didn't even talk to her ever again. So, serves her right. She's still a horrible human being anyway, so whatever. Back to the video here. So the point is, this got me out of my box. Got me out of my shell. Started kind of making a change in my life. I didn't realize it at the time, but hey, it is what it is. Hung out with him every single day and night. I was barely home. Now, mind you, we weren't doing horrible things. We weren't doing bad things. I mean, we did stupid shit, but only he and I know that, right, Mr. Limley? But anyways, it was a fun time making this movie. Had I shown this to all of you, you would see that there was a lot of fun put into this. But really, half of it was just me making a movie. The other half was just me recording the life of my friend Zach, a little bit of my life, and the people in his life all over town. If I put this all together, had I actually finished this movie, because this movie was completely unfinished. The reason why it was unfinished, because life got in the way, work got in the way, you know how it is. But most of 2011 was an hour and a half of this movie. And then after that, I fell off of it because, like I said, life got in the way. And then a little portion of 2012 was in this, and then definitely the last like 15 minutes of this or so was in 2013. There are moments in here where I'm thinking, okay, that was in 2012, this was in 2013, the rest of that in 2011, because there's certain points in my life where events happen, and it just sticks with you, sticks with your mind. I don't remember a lot of things, but because of my filmmaking craft and why I hold these near and dear to me. It brings me back in time. And there are things that I'm like, holy shit, did this really happen? You know how you forget things and it just randomly hits you? Yeah. No, seriously though. The sequel that could have been The Making of Screech 2. I had a really good time watching this today. Am I going to cry? No, I'm not going to cry. There's nothing to cry about. This was joy. It's pure joy. I had some great laughs watching this. And, you know, behind the scenes, like I mentioned about my previous relationship with this girl, there was another girl that I was starting to get really interested in. And it became super obsessive. I'm not saying it was a horrible thing, but she was another one that was a red flag in my life, but she wasn't as bad as the other one. Still, she was bad though. And that ultimately, years and years, is what led me to becoming pretty much going back to an introvert. Hence, nowadays. I don't regret it. Because you realize people are not who they are. And you also realize, you know, there's bigger fish in the sea. If the right one sticks, it sticks. And if they don't, the hell with them. But, you know, it is what it is. No. My friend Zach, the people in his life, they hold near and dear to me. They will always hold near and dear to me to my life until I die, until they die and all that. I'm still in contact with Zach. I'm still talking to his brother. I'm still talking to some people that really are in this. And some people moved on. There's a couple people in here that I see in passing sometimes. I say, hey, how you doing? How's life treating you? Cool, good deal. That's it. But no. This, yeah. I just thought I'd jump in here and just kind of express for the YouTube world. Because sometimes, if you don't have any idea what to make as content, it'll just click, you know? And I was watching this and I was thinking, you know, I want to make a YouTube video and just express how I feel today. So there you have it. Let me just show it to you again, guys. The sequel that could have been The Making of Screech 2. I will not be posting this on YouTube. If you're thinking that, no, it's not going on YouTube. This is something that is just for me, my family, and friends only. And like I said before, my tier list video, there's content in here that I don't trust having on YouTube. Not saying it's bad, but it's just stuff that I would prefer to keep for my eyes, ears, and my brain, as well as my family and friends that, you know, were involved in this. Specifically you, Mr. Lemley. And you, Chansey. But no. Especially with that frying pan. Yeah, I still feel that. If you know, man. No, I wanted to jump here and just kind of just say, hey, I just have a blast from the past, man, and you just really feel it. You miss it, but you're glad it happened. Some things you're not glad of, some things you're not proud of, but the majority you are glad and proud of. I'm glad I did this. Even though it is an unfinished project, it turned out to be one big home video, and I have no regrets with it. So, it is a sequel that could have been. It was completely unfinished. But this movie is a product of what happens when life gets in the way. Hey, had I completed this movie, this probably could have been one of my best. With music and actually being edited, cut together, and all that. It would have been one of my favorites. It could have been the top 3 best of the original era of series films I've made. But hey, it is what it is. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Be sure to like and subscribe for more content like this, and I will see you on the next one. Peace out, and have a good one.